Hello, welcome back everybody. MPLS VPN walkthrough tutorials. In the previous tutorial, we learned what is RD to prevent the IP address overlapping problems. By defining the RD, we solve the IP address overlapping problems. Okay, in this tutorial, we're gonna continue about what is route target RT, and I'm gonna explain you why do we need route target. Okay, let's take a look at this. We have the router 8 PE routers and we already set up EAGRP. So if we look at the show IP BGP VPN v4 all, we have the for YGN VRF we router 8 PE5 learn 172.16.15.0 which is the LAN of this guy, and 191.168.85.0 which is the connection of this guy. For MDY VRF, we've defined 16.16, so we have learned 172.16.15.0, which is the MDY LAN, and this. Okay. Since we already configured the MPBGP between these PE routers, so all these routes supposed to pass to the other PE routers. Example, in this case is router 5. Because our end objective is to be able to communicate from this YGN LAN through the San Francisco LAN. Okay, so we gotta verify in the router 5. When we verify the show IP BGP VPN v4 all, we don't see the routes we've learned from this 191.168.85 and the 172.16.15. and these 4 routes in router 5. You can see here. What do we have in router 5? Router 5 only has the routes of this guy, and also the NYC, this guy and this guy. You can see here. Same result, router 5 supposed to pass the routes of these guy to router 8, which we already configured the MPBGP neighbors, and router 8 also doesn't have it, right? So there's a route communication breakdown between the PE routers, even though we already set up the MPBGP. Then we have the concept of route target comes in. So what is route target? Okay, two types of route targets that we need to know. One is the export route targets and import route targets. What is export route targets? When we redistribute the routes from here to the MPBGP, we call it export route target. Okay, and redistribution always comes two ways. Import route targets means we redistribute this from MPBGP into outside of MPBGP. We use import route target. Example, we want to pass these routes to this San Francisco. What we're gonna do is we're gonna export this route target to inside the MPBGP. So the routes of 192.168.85 and 172.16.15 is exported into MPBGP, and then this router 5 will receive the routes and it will import back to the CE site that he wants to pass. In this case is San Francisco. Okay, so let's do, this is theory, the concept, and let's do in the lab. Router 8. So what we're gonna do is in the YG and VRF, we're gonna export the route target. So what we're gonna do is this is on router 8 PE5, which is here. So IP VRF YGN. I'm gonna do the route target. We have the two value, import and export. So here I'm gonna export. Then we need to define the route target value. In this case, for the easy to understand, I'm gonna define all the YGN routes as 5. So this is going to be the numbers that I defined. So this 55 route target export represent the 192.168.85.0 and 172.16.15.0. I define the route target export. So what we can see is all these routes is already into the MPBGP. It's already exported. Then I have to import in router 5 to who? To San Francisco, because I want the communication between YG and San Francisco. So what we're gonna do is here IPVRF SFO route target import. I need to import what is the route that I want to import, which is from 55, which we define in the YG and VRF. So here I import the 55. All right, so the one-way communication from Yangon to San Francisco is already done. But we need the two-way from San Francisco back to Yangon here. So what we're going to do is in router 5, we have to route target export the route of the San Francisco route into MPBGP here. So when we export, I'm going to define here as too easy. This is 11, so I'm going to define 11. The numbering is up to you. Export 11, and then what we're going to do, we have to import back this San Francisco route to Yangon. So we go to route 8, route target import 11. All right, so that's it. And then what we're going to do is we will verify. This is before the route target defined, and then now we're going to do the route target. This is the before the route target. At the same time, in the router 15, you have to verify on the router 15 show IP route. This one didn't receive in the previous tutorial. This router 15 doesn't have the routes to this guy, and this 11 doesn't have the routes to this guy. In the previous tutorial, we already defined. So after defining the route target, what we're going to verify is show IP BGP VPN before all. We're going to see the routes here. We see the 11, which is on router 8. 11 is RD11 is San Francisco here. These routes 172.16, 11.0, and 192.168.51.0, which is these two. It's already here. Reached to router 8. Okay. Okay, then we verify on here. Show IP BGP VPN before on the router 5. What we will see is we will see 192.168.85 and 172.16.15. Here. Okay. So I think we also already done on this R8. So let's verify by using show run. YGN. Let's verify on here. Okay. Okay, so never mind. Now let's focus on YGN and San Francisco. So that we receive the routes on router 5 and router PE. So this 8 already received these two, and this 5 already received these two. So now we need to go back to our PE customer edge router 15 and 11. So this is our 11, San Francisco. When we verify the show IP route, we get the 172.16.15, which is this guy route, and 192.168.85, which is here. This San Francisco already received these two. It will known as the RIP because San Francisco is running RIP. And let's go to router 15. Show IP route. we can expect the routes in the router 15, this 192.168.51, and the San Francisco LAN is 172.16.11.0/24. Here we go. We will see this guy is EIGRP external route because this guy is running EIGRP and this guy is running RIP. So when RIPs comes in here and go back to here, so EIGRP will know these routes as the external EIGRP routes. Then on the router 15, which is Yangon, will ping to San Francisco LAN here, 172.16.11.11 source from its loopback, which is 172.16.15.15 here. So we are good. Same time, we're gonna verify ping 192.168.15.15. Sorry, 172.16.15.15 source loopback 0. So now we are good. So in this example, this is example CB Bank Yangon connect to the CB Bank San Francisco, can be able to reach by passing through the RHC MPLS VPN backbone. So let's take a look on this Camosa Bank Mandalay and Camosa Bank New York. Let's do it. So what we're gonna do, it's first we need to already define the RD and already done the necessary route redistribution back in the previous tutorials. And now in the route 8, I'm gonna go to IPVRF MDY. I'm gonna do the route target export 66, which is the MDY route 191.68.86, and this guy export in the route target export 66, and then this MDY want to communicate to New York. So I'm gonna go to New York PE routers and config T IPVRF NYC route target import 66. Same, New York will export its routes into MPBGP by using 22 because San Francisco defined as route target 11, so I'm going to define here 22 for clear to simplify. Export 22, and I go to here route target import 22. Okay, so we can verify the configurations here. If we look at the MDY, IPVRF MDY, route distinguisher is 16, route target export 66, we export 66 into MPBGP, and then we go to router 5, PE2, we look at the NYC, we import 66. And then we export NYC as a 22, and when we verify here, import back 22. So this is communication between MDY and NYC. Communication between the YGN and San Francisco. If we take a look at San Francisco now, so let's take a look at YGN first. I define the YGN RD as 15 to prevent the IP address overlapping problems with the MDY. Okay. And the route target export, I export as 55, this YGN, export into MPBGP, and then import 55 into San Francisco, and the San Francisco export its route into 11 and import back to YGN. So communication between YGN, Camosa Bank, and San Francisco KB Camosa Bank can communicate, and San Francisco Mandalay CB Bank and the New York CB Bank can communicate. Okay, by passing through the MPLS VPN. So in this MPLS VPN, we can see international MPLS VPN provider. If you look at the CETA, L airport, or example, maybe like MPLS VPN provider for the automobile industry, for all the car companies. Example, Mercedes Yangon, communicate to Mercedes San Francisco, BMW Mandalay, communicate to BMW NYC, and maybe Ford Singapore, communicate to maybe like, okay, let's say Toyota Singapore, communicate to Toyota Japan by passing through the MPLS VPN. So this MPLS VPN can serve many different types of customers and the international MPLS VPN. If you look at the stock exchange, it's the same, this scenario. Okay, so now let's verify, and the MDY is supposed to be able to communicate to the NYC, so which is on router 16. Oh, we verify this guy first. Okay, show IP BGP, VPN before all, and we're gonna see here all these, and you can verify yourself, and we can verify here, show IP BGP, VPN before all, and you can verify yourself. After that, now let's verify on the router 16. So router 16 here will have to have the routes of 192.168.52 and this New York LAN network, which is 172.16.11.0/24. So when I go to show IP route, I will be expecting the route as the OSPF, external OSPF. So here we go. So now we verify on router 12, which is on New York customer side. We'll be receiving this 192.168.86 and its LAN network as the external EAGRP, because router 12 is running EAGRP. So if you're out here we go. Okay, so now router 12, which is New York, I'm gonna try to reach to router 16, which is 172.16.15.15, source loopback 0. We can communicate now. So I'm going to verify from here, router 16, which is Mandalay. I'm trying to reach to New York, 172.16.11.11, source loopback 0. Here we go. Repeat 100, let's see. So in this example, the key here is route target. Let's say we define the route target 55 and export it into the MPBGP, and then import that 55 route target into San Francisco. What if we do the wrongly on import this 55 into New York? This guy can be able to reach to this guy, which is very dangerous case when we play with a route target, because this is a Camosa bank, this is a CB bank. Okay, in the example, in the business policy, we don't need to communicate from this guy to this guy. All right, so playing the route target export and import is very important. It's very careful. We have to be very careful. So if not, we'll have a route leaking problems, and we'll have a lot of problems, because on this is Camosa bank, they have to be able to communicate, and this is a CB bank and CB bank. All right, so on this PE routers, we have to be very careful, because MPLS VPN is backbone provider, engineer. All right, so in the next example, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna configure the rest of the MPLS VPN site. Example, I want to be able to reach from Japan to London, and also like Japan to New York. So these three sites will be able to communicate, and this side and this side can be able to communicate, but this guy can only able to communicate this guy cannot be able to communicate this guy. So how do I do the routing policy? It depends on the route target I can play. All right, so now if this from MPLS VPN tutorial 1 through this tutorial, what are the key concepts that we learn is that MPBGP, route distinguisher, and route target. Of course, the route redistribution also include the MPLS, push swap pop, and also the VRF. Okay, so hope everyone enjoy watching and studying, and thank you very much everyone, and see you in the next tutorial.